Hello everyone, Mike Lowe here, simsportsgaming.com, bringing you episode 1 of SSG Baseball Digest. This will be a very quick hitting stream throughout each week or so, dealing with some of the latest happenings around our SSG Baseball League. SSG Baseball is a league that uses Out of the Park baseball software. You can find out more information about that game at outoftheparkdevelopments.com. Be sure to check that out and the other games they have for sale there as well. The league itself has been running since 2015 in real time. If you want to find out more about the league, I'm not going to go over that here in the stream, but go to simsportsgaming.com. You can find out more information about it and all that's been going on there. All the reports are up on the site, as well as information about our other leagues. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can follow them on Twitter, SimSportsGaming. I'm on Twitter at MikeLowe47 if you'd like to follow me. And let's jump right on into it. So again, 3 topics that we'll be looking at today. And the first of which is talking about really the hottest team in baseball right now, which is the St. Louis Cardinals. So let's take a look here. These are the expanded standings inside of Out of the Park Baseball. And we are at Friday, April 17th. And so we have here, if I go down to St. Louis, 16-3, the best record in baseball. They already have a 7-game lead. And it's the middle of April. They have been absolutely red hot. They have a run differential of 54 runs already in just 19 games. They're 6-1 at home. They're 10-2 on the road, and they're 7-3 in their last 2 games. So this is a team. Really, it's a bit of a surprise. Not complete surprise, but this division, they've had a lot of ups and downs. Cincinnati was, probably the biggest spending team in this division. They got off to a slower start, but they've been much, much better after a really rough start. They're 7-3. But a 7-game lead in the middle of April, this division is already turning into a runaway, it seems, with St. Louis. So really, really great job with that Kevin Oakes, their GM, has done. And we reached out to Kevin to hear what he had to say about St. Louis's strong start. And here's what Kevin said. He says, "What can I say? I'm frankly stunned by how we've been out of the gate. First in runs scored and runs against in the NL is a pretty good recipe for success. It's a long season though, so we're putting in the work every day to get better and not taking this for granted. The old cliche, 1 game at a time, rings true, but I gotta admit, I'm enjoying the hell out of most of them so far." So again, that's Kevin Oakes there, the GM for the Cardinals in our SSG Baseball League. And so the Cardinals, again, hottest team in baseball so far. It's very early, but Kevin's done a really nice job of taking some pieces that were even send-offs from other teams and is putting together a team that's making a good run. I'm guessing there's some really strong chemistry going on with St. Louis, and they're just off to a really, really hot start in a division that is looking like it might not be as competitive as some of us may have thought during the offseason. Let's talk about our next topic, which is another very, very hot team in SSG Baseball, this time in the American League, and that's the Detroit Tigers. Is this the best Tigers team that we've seen in SSG Baseball? I so far think it is. This is a team that has been good since the league started. Now, granted, the Tigers were a pretty good team when this league started, but they're not right now in real life. So this isn't a case of just inheriting a good team. Armando Trejo, who's their GM, has done just a fantastic job of maintaining that high standard that the Tigers have had really in the 21st century or so, since 2006 when they finally made it back to a World Series. And so that's continued with Detroit. This might be the best team they've had, though. I know we played them in the playoffs last year, super tough series. We just finished actually a 3-game series with them that Detroit took 2 out of 3 against us earlier this week, I think, or last week. And they're tough, again. So if we look here, if we go to the screen, they are 14-4. Just a 1.5 game lead, though, over Minnesota, who's, again, always really a tough team, just like in real life, right? The Twins are always there. But the Tigers, again, plus 44 run differential. Not quite as high as St. Louis, but still incredibly high. 7-2 at home and on the road. And they are 7-3 as well in their last 10. So, again, a really, really hot team here. Another team that's off to a good start. And they're just a team that's built strong top to bottom, even after losing some key pieces that they've had over the years, such as Justin Verlander, who just signed with the Dodgers in our most recent offseason. So right out the gate, again, it's still very early, but we have a team in the American League and the Tigers in the National League in the Cardinals, who are just off to red hot starts. I mean, over 84% winning percentage, 78% for the Tigers. And again, just two fantastic teams that have been built to really put a lot of pressure on the other teams in the league. So not every team, however, is running away with anything or crushing people with their run differential or anything like that, because we have another team I think is worth talking about now, which is the New York Yankees. Is this the fall of an empire, or have we been seeing the fall of an empire as of lately? Because what is going on with the Yankees? Let's take a look again. So again, going back to the standings page, the Yankees are 2-16. Now, before we get any deeper into this conversation, it needs to be said that this is not the fault of their current GM, Tom, right? Tom is not going to be, he is not the one. This team has been bad for years, okay? This team has had ownership change after ownership change, or I should say GM change after GM change. And they're just in really, really rough shape, because not only are they 2-16, the run differential, it's not like they're losing close games. -65, right? Their Pythagorean record indicates they should be 3-15. So again, it's not like they're just off to a rough start and just have had bad luck. They're expected to be this bad. They're 2-10 on the road. They're 0-6 at home. And the Yankees are a team that is probably one of the teams that can benefit the most from being built towards their ballpark. Again, it's only 6 home games, but are we starting to see some trends or things that we can take a look at? They're 0-10 in their last 10 games. They're 1-13 against right-handed pitching. So, I mean, and again, for a team that's really probably built with a lot of lefties in that ballpark, this is a really surprising statistic there. I think the interesting thing about the Yankees, too, is if we go to the prospect pipeline, and if we go to the Yankees, they've been bad for a while, but it's not like they have a ton of guys who are just coming down the pipeline anytime soon. They have the former, I think he was number 2 overall in the draft last year, Ron Lowe. I think that's where he was drafted. It's not showing us on this page, but he was a top 5. Oh yeah, here it goes. Second overall pick in last year's draft. And he looks like a really, really nice player. And it's nice that, they're not rushing him up or anything like that. But they don't have really a ton behind him. And again, not that these guys are bad, but a relief pitcher, third baseman who's in the top 150, there's not a ton of stuff that's coming down here. If we go and actually look at the team rankings here, so the minor league system rankings, you'll see that the Yankees are kind of in the middle range, I believe. Where did they go? Why can't I see the Yankees? There they are, 16th. So, and again, you're just seeing a couple names pop up there. We can take a closer look here at Ron Lowe. He's in Double-A right now. At least I think he's in Double-A. I'm not sure what team. I think that's Double-A, the Thunder. But look at this. He hasn't played yet. I mean, what's going on here? I know the season only started a week ago, but shouldn't this guy be at the top of the rotation for whatever team he's on? He was the second pick in the draft. So I will say that I think while the GM hasn't had anything to do with really this bad of a team, these are things that they should be keeping a closer eye on. And so I think that would be the challenge for any new GM or any team that's really struggling, where their season seems like it's over and I don't need to export very often. There's nothing to do. Sure there is. There's tons to do. And this is just one minor example of what could be done there. So again, we're not trying to pile on the Yankees at all. This is a team, again, they've been bad for a while, a long while. But they have stable ownership right now, and that's probably the most exciting part of all this is they have a very active GM who is actively looking for ways to make the team better while also still being patient. I know for a fact that teams were knocking on his door about some of their young talent, and he's done a very good job of deflecting that and being patient and saying, no, hey, these people are part of our foundation moving forward. And I think that's a really, really smart move. Because you need to hold on to some of those younger assets, especially while they're cheap, and you can start to clear out some of these older vets who are costing money and so on. So yeah, the Yankees are off to a rough start. Again, are they going to continue only winning 11% of their games? No, there's not a team in baseball that's ever been that bad. So they will start to bounce back a little bit, but it's a rough stretch, and it's tough to stay in that particular situation without wanting to make a bunch of changes. So On the left and right here, you can see the league leaders. I'll just leave that up on the screen for people to take a look at. But again, this is going to be a really, really quick streaming series here. We talked about the Red Hot Redbirds. We talked about the Detroit Tigers being the best team out the gate in the American League, and the Yankees, who have fallen on tough times but are in good hands. So thanks for watching, everyone. Again, you can find out more information about this league at simsportsgaming.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on Twitter and other social media as well, and I'll see you next time.